Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in all of our lives when we are faced with a decision that may not look like much at first glance, but in reality, it carries the weight of our future. You see, life is not built by chance. It is built by choice. Every single day, we wake up with opportunities disguised as options. We can choose to hit the snooze button or choose to get up and chase after our goals. We can choose to complain about our problems, or we can choose to confront them. We can choose to wait for a miracle, or we can choose to become one. That's what build choice means. It means understanding that the life you're living right now is not an accident. It's an accumulation of the choices you've made. And if you don't like what you see, the power to change it is already in your hands. The power of ownership, one of the greatest gifts life has given us, is the gift of free will. Nobody forces us to dream small. Nobody forces us to settle. Nobody forces us to give up. That's a choice. And if you can make a choice to give up, you can also make a choice to rise again. When you take ownership of your choices, you reclaim control of your destiny. It's easy to blame the economy, the government, your family, or even your past. But as long as you point the finger outward, you surrender your power. Ownership is saying, yes, I may not have chosen where I started, but I absolutely choose where I finish. Small choices, big outcomes. Most people think big changes come from big decisions. No. Big outcomes come from small, consistent choices. Choosing to study 1 more hour. Choosing to work on your craft every day. Choosing to invest instead of spending. Choosing to say no to what doesn't serve you, so you can say yes to what does. Success isn't built in a single day. It's built daily. And every single choice stacks up like bricks, building the life you're going to live in tomorrow. If you build excuses, you'll live in regret. If you build discipline, you'll live in freedom. If you build faith, you'll live in possibility. The cost of indecision, but here's the reality, not choosing is also a choice. And it's one of the most dangerous ones. How many dreams have died because someone kept saying, I'll start tomorrow? How many opportunities have slipped away because someone was too afraid to choose? Indecision is the thief of destiny. It robs you while you're standing still. While you're hesitating, somebody else is moving. While you're doubting, somebody else is deciding. And let me tell you something. Those who decide, those who choose, those who commit, they are the ones who win. Choosing growth over comfort, every choice you make falls into one of 2 categories, comfort or growth. Comfort feels good in the moment, but it steals your future. Growth feels hard in the moment, but it builds your future. Comfort says, stay where you are. It's safe here. Growth says, push forward. It's worth it. Think about it. Every person you admire, every person who has achieved greatness didn't get there by choosing what was easy. They chose what was necessary. They chose discipline over laziness. They chose courage over fear. They chose faith over doubt. And if they can do it, so can you. The choice to believe. But here's the foundation. Before you build anything, you must first choose to believe. Believe in yourself. Believe in your dream. Believe that no matter how many times you've fallen, you still have the power to rise again. The moment you choose belief, doors begin to open. Not because life suddenly becomes easy, but because your vision becomes clear. You stop seeing problems as walls and start seeing them as doors waiting to be unlocked. Belief is a choice, and it's the one that makes all the others possible. Build your tomorrow. I want you to imagine something right now. Imagine 5 years from today. Imagine looking in the mirror. Will the person staring back at you thank you for the choices you made? Or will they resent you for the chances you didn't take? Your future self is depending on you today. The dreams you carry are depending on you today. And the world that needs your gift is depending on you today. Build choice. Build it with courage. Build it with discipline. Build it with vision. Closing call, let me leave you with this. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the architect of your life. Each day, you hold the hammer of decision in your hands. And with every strike, you are building a future, brick by brick, choice by choice. So, what will you build? Will you build regret, or will you build resilience? Will you build fear, or will you build faith? Will you build excuses, or will you build excellence? The power is already in you. All you have to do is choose. So today, right here, right now, make a decision. Build a choice that builds your future. And when life tries to knock you down, when fear whispers in your ear, when doubt creeps into your mind, stand tall and remind yourself, I built this choice. And because I built it, I will see it through. Ladies and gentlemen, build choice, and you'll build a life worth living. Every choice builds your future. That is the truth most people underestimate. We tend to believe our future is written somewhere, dictated by circumstances, luck, or the hands of others. But when you stop and look closer, you realize it's not the single massive decisions that shape the direction of your life. It's the countless choices you make day after day, moment after moment. Life is not an accident. It's a construction project. And every choice you make lays another brick in the foundation of who you are becoming. Think about it. From the moment you wake up, you are making choices. Do you get up with purpose? Or do you hit the snooze button and tell yourself 5 more minutes? That choice seems small, but it sets the tone for the rest of your day. Do you choose to fill your mind with doubt and fear? Or do you choose to fuel it with hope and vision? Do you choose to focus on problems, or do you choose to search for solutions? Each decision may seem insignificant on its own, but combined, they create the habits, patterns, and results that define your destiny. Your life today is the harvest of choices you made yesterday. Your health, your relationships, your career, your confidence. They didn't appear out of thin air. They are the result of repeated decisions. If you chose discipline, you built strength. If you chose procrastination, you built regret. If you chose to invest in yourself, you built growth. If you chose to neglect yourself, you built struggle. The future you dream about is not waiting to randomly show up. It is waiting for you to build it choice by choice. And here's the reality. Every choice carries a consequence. Some consequences are immediate, some delayed, but none of them are optional. If you choose action, you move closer to your goals. If you choose inaction, you drift further away. The tricky part is that negative choices often feel good right now, but cost you later, while positive choices often feel difficult right now, but reward you later. Choosing to eat healthy might be hard today, but it gives you strength tomorrow. Choosing to work late on your dream might feel tiring now, but it creates freedom in the future. On the other hand, choosing to quit when things get hard feels easy in the moment, but it builds regret that can last a lifetime. Most people underestimate the power of small choices because they don't see immediate results. You skip one workout and nothing drastic happens. You procrastinate once and the world doesn't end. But repeated over time, these choices compound into your future reality. Just like a builder doesn't construct a skyscraper in a single day. Your future isn't built in one decision. It's built in thousands of consistent ones. And just like a crack in the foundation can destroy the whole building, poor choices, even small ones, can weaken the structure of your life. The power is that you always have a choice. No matter how many wrong turns you've taken, every new moment gives you another chance to decide differently. You may not be able to go back and undo the choices of yesterday, but you can make better choices today that will lead you to a brighter tomorrow. Every time you choose courage over fear, effort over excuses, growth over comfort, you're stacking bricks on the structure of a life that will stand tall against any storm. So when you look at your life, don't just see random events. See the blueprint of your choices. When you look at your circumstances, don't just see chance. See the reflection of decisions made consistently over time. Because no matter who you are, where you come from, or what challenges you face, you hold the pen that writes your story. And that pen is called choice. Indecision is the thief of destiny. It creeps in quietly, disguised as caution, disguised as waiting for the perfect time, disguised as, I'll start tomorrow. But in reality, every moment you hesitate, every moment you delay, every moment you postpone the decision to move forward, you allow opportunities to slip through your hands. Life does not pause to wait for you to decide. The world keeps spinning, time keeps moving, and while you're standing still, someone else is stepping into the place that was meant for you. The danger of indecision is that it feels safe. It feels like you're buying yourself more time, like you're protecting yourself from failure. But what you're really doing is surrendering your power to fear. You're allowing fear to disguise itself as wisdom. And in doing so, you stop yourself from living the life you're capable of. Indecision is not a neutral state. It is a decision in itself. The decision to do nothing, to remain the same, to let life happen to you instead of shaping it with intent. Think about how many dreams have been buried, not because the person lacked talent, not because the person lacked resources, but because they simply couldn't decide. They kept waiting for all the lights to turn green before they left the driveway. They kept waiting for certainty in a world that will never give it. Opportunities do not linger forever. They pass on to those who are bold enough to decide, even if they're not fully prepared, even if they're not completely confident, even if they're not guaranteed success. Indecision steals more than opportunities. It steals time. The most valuable resource you have. You can recover from failure. You can rebuild from a setback. You can reinvent yourself after loss. But you can never recover wasted time. Every day you hesitate. Every day you postpone. Every day you sit on the fence. You are giving away precious moments you will never get back. That is why indecision is so dangerous. It doesn't just delay your destiny. It erases pieces of it. It is important to understand that you don't need perfect clarity to make a decision. Waiting for perfect conditions is a trap because they never exist. There will always be uncertainty. There will always be risk. There will always be doubt. But courage is not the absence of fear. It is the willingness to move despite it. The most successful people in the world are not the ones who never doubted. They are the ones who decided anyway. When you decide, you unlock momentum. A decision creates direction, and direction creates movement. Even if the path is not perfect, movement allows you to adjust, to learn, to grow. You cannot steer a parked car, but once you put it in motion, you can turn, you can accelerate, you can change lanes, you can reroute. The power is in the decision to move. Without that, you remain parked in the same spot, watching others pass you by. Indecision also weakens confidence. Every time you hesitate, you teach yourself to doubt your own judgment. You reinforce the belief that you cannot trust yourself to choose wisely. But when you make decisions, even small ones, you strengthen your ability to lead your own life. Confidence grows from action, not from waiting. The more you decide, the more you believe in your capacity to handle the consequences of those decisions. The truth is, there is no such thing as a perfect decision. Every choice comes with challenges. Every path comes with obstacles. But the wrong decision is better than no decision, because even a wrong choice teaches you something, gives you experience, and moves you closer to clarity. Indecision teaches you nothing, gives you nothing, and takes everything. So many people look back on their lives not haunted by the things they tried and failed, but by the things they never tried at all. It is not failure that hurts the most. It is the regret of never knowing what could have been. And that regret has one root: indecision. It is the quiet killer of dreams, the invisible barrier between who you are and who you could have become. Small daily choices create big outcomes. Most people think greatness is built on grand gestures, life-changing moments, or single opportunities that appear like lightning strikes. But in reality, greatness is forged in the unnoticed, ordinary choices made consistently over time. It's not what you do once in a while that shapes your destiny. It's what you do every day. The little things, the daily habits, the seemingly insignificant decisions, those are the seeds that grow into the harvest of your life. When you choose to wake up an hour earlier to work on your dream, that small act looks invisible today. Nobody cheers for you when you stay disciplined, when you choose to study instead of scroll, when you choose to work on your craft instead of wasting time. But compounded over weeks, months, and years, those small daily choices transform into skills, knowledge, and opportunities that others call luck. The truth is, luck is often just the fruit of small, consistent decisions that compounded into visible success. Consider the choice of what you feed your mind each day. One person fills their mind with negativity, gossip, and distractions. Another person fills their mind with books, ideas, and growth. On day one, they look the same. After a month, you barely notice a difference. But after a year, one has built wisdom and perspective, while the other has built confusion and stagnation. Those outcomes were not created by a single event. They were built by repeated small choices. The same applies to health. Choosing to exercise today may not instantly transform your body. Choosing to eat well for one meal won't immediately show results. But repeating those choices daily, even when they seem small, builds strength, energy, and vitality over time. On the other hand, neglecting those choices daily doesn't harm you all at once, but over months and years, it erodes your well-being. Every small choice is like a drop of water. It seems tiny alone, but over time it carves valleys and changes landscapes. Success is not about intensity, it's about consistency. Anybody can be disciplined for a day, motivated for a week, or excited for a short season. The real transformation comes when you choose discipline daily, even when motivation fades. Those who win are not necessarily the most talented. They are the ones who made small, right choices repeatedly while others chose comfort. Every small decision becomes a building block. Every repeated choice becomes a habit, and every habit becomes the structure of your life. Small choices also have a way of testing your integrity. It's easy to make big promises, to declare bold intentions, to talk about dreams. But when nobody is watching, when the decision is just between you and yourself, will you choose discipline or will you choose excuses? The future is not shaped on the stage where people can see you. It is shaped in the quiet moments when only you know the choice you made. And here is the beauty: small daily choices are accessible to everyone. You may not have money, connections, or privilege, but you can choose discipline. You can choose effort. You can choose growth. You can choose to do one small thing today that makes you better than you were yesterday. Over time, those choices compound into opportunities that seemed impossible at the start. The danger is that small daily choices don't feel urgent. Skipping one workout doesn't ruin your health. Wasting 1 hour doesn't destroy your future. Quitting one day doesn't end the dream. And because the consequence isn't immediate, people underestimate the impact. But the truth is, every small choice is a vote. Every time you act in alignment with your goals, you cast a vote for the person you want to become. Every time you choose against your goals, you cast a vote for staying the same. One vote may not matter, but over time, the side that wins, is the one you've been voting for daily. Your life is not shaped in giant leaps. It is shaped in small steps. Each decision you make is a step toward the future you desire or a step away from it. And when you look back years from now, you'll realize it wasn't the big moments that determined where you ended up. It was the small daily choices that quietly built your outcomes. Choose growth over comfort every single day. Life presents you with two paths. One is smooth, familiar, and easy. It asks little of you. It costs nothing in effort, but it gives nothing in return. That is the path of comfort. The other path is uncertain, challenging, sometimes even painful, but it stretches you, shapes you, and strengthens you. That is the path of growth. Every choice you make, consciously or unconsciously, pulls you toward one of these two directions. Comfort is seductive. It whispers in your ear that you've done enough, that you can take it easy, that tomorrow is always there. It convinces you to stay where you are because moving forward feels risky. Comfort offers safety, but it is the kind of safety that slowly suffocates your potential. Growth, on the other hand, never feels easy in the moment. Growth asks you to step outside what is familiar, to lean into uncertainty, to face challenges that test your resolve. Growth asks you to endure discomfort now in order to build strength, skill, and resilience for tomorrow. The difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who settle is often this one chose growth while the other chose comfort. Comfort keeps you the same. Growth changes you. Comfort asks for nothing, but it takes everything in the long run. Growth demands effort, but it rewards you with possibilities you never imagined. Every time you avoid growth, you trade your future for a moment of ease. Every time you embrace growth, you trade a moment of difficulty for a lifetime of progress. Look at anyone who has accomplished something extraordinary. You will not find a life built in comfort. You will find seasons of struggle, moments of fear, and times where they had to push beyond what felt safe. Growth never happens where you feel secure. It happens where you feel stretched. The weight you lift in the gym must be heavy enough to strain your muscles. Otherwise, you don't get stronger. Life works the same way. If your choices never challenge you, they will never change you. Choosing growth means choosing to fail sometimes, because failure is not the opposite of growth. It is a part of it. Every mistake, every setback, every challenge is a teacher. Comfort shields you from failure, but it also shields you from wisdom. Growth exposes you to failure, but it refines you through it. You cannot reach new levels without walking through the lessons that growth demands. Choosing growth also means sacrificing short-term pleasure for long-term gain. It means saying no when comfort says yes. It means working when you feel tired, studying when you'd rather relax, pushing forward when quitting feels easier. Comfort gives you relief right now, but regret later. Growth gives you difficulty right now, but freedom later. The pain of discipline weighs ounces, but the pain of regret weighs tons. The choice between growth and comfort is not made once. It is made daily. It is made in the decision to speak up when silence is easier. It is made in the decision to start even when you're afraid. It is made in the decision to keep going when quitting feels tempting. Each of those choices builds the character and strength that comfort can never provide. And the truth is, growth eventually creates a new kind of comfort. What once scared you becomes normal. What once felt impossible becomes your standard. Every time you choose growth, you expand what you are capable of. But if you keep choosing comfort, your world shrinks until it becomes a cage. One path leads to a larger life, the other leads to a smaller one. One path creates freedom, the other creates limits. One path builds the future you desire, the other leaves you stuck where you began. Belief is the foundation of all choices. Before you take the first step toward any dream, Before you commit to any goal, before you fight through any obstacle, you must first believe. Belief is the soil in which every decision grows. Without belief, choices become weak, hesitant, and uncertain. With belief, choices gain strength, courage, and persistence. Everything you will ever build in life begins in the mind, and the cornerstone of that construction is belief. When you believe in yourself, you give power to your choices. You stop approaching decisions with fear and hesitation, and you begin to approach them with confidence and conviction. Belief turns an uncertain step into a bold stride. It doesn't mean you will always know the outcome, but it means you trust yourself enough to move forward regardless. Every invention, every breakthrough, every story of success began with someone choosing to believe they could, even when the world told them they couldn't. Belief is not about ignoring reality. It is about seeing possibility beyond reality. The world will always present reasons why you can't, why it's too late, why it's too difficult. But belief allows you to see reasons why you should try anyway. Belief gives you the courage to make choices that others avoid. It gives you the strength to keep going when others quit. It gives you the vision to create something that doesn't exist yet, and the persistence to keep choosing it day after day until it becomes real. Every choice you make is influenced by the level of belief you carry. If you believe you are capable, you choose challenges that stretch you. If you believe you are unworthy, you choose to settle. If you believe the future holds possibility, you choose to act boldly. If you believe life is against you, you choose to retreat. Belief shapes the way you interpret the world, and that interpretation determines the choices you make. Two people can face the same opportunity. One sees it as a chance and chooses to act. The other sees it as a risk and chooses to wait. The difference is not the opportunity. It is the belief behind the choice. Belief is also the anchor that keeps you steady when the storms come, because storms will come. There will be setbacks, failures, and disappointments. Without belief, you will see those storms as proof you should quit. With belief, you will see them as temporary challenges on the path to something greater. Belief does not eliminate struggle, but it gives you the strength to endure struggle. It tells you that no matter how hard it gets, it's worth continuing. It tells you that you still have something left inside when everything outside tells you to stop. The challenge is that belief is not always natural. Doubt is louder, fear is stronger, and the voices around you may not always be supportive. That's why belief must be a choice. You choose to believe even when you don't feel like it. You choose to believe even when the evidence isn't visible yet. You choose to believe because you understand that without it, every other choice loses its power. Belief is not something you wait to feel. It is something you decide to hold. And belief is not just about yourself. It is also about believing in the process, believing in the possibility of growth, believing that every small effort counts. When you believe that what you do matters, you make stronger choices. When you believe that persistence pays off, you keep choosing discipline. When you believe that your life has meaning, you make choices that align with purpose. Belief is the fuel behind every sacrifice, every effort, every risk worth taking. Everything you want in life stands on the other side of choices, and those choices stand on the foundation of belief. Without it, you build on sand. With it, you build on rock. Belief is what makes you dare to start, what makes you bold enough to continue, and what makes you strong enough to finish.